morning, monkeys. Welcome to another episode of Monkeylandia here at Coaster Monkey Studios. Welcome to this episode. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Gabriel Coaster Monkey. I am the one and only Coaster Monkey, and I am bringing you today a little bit of restaurant action. If you like what you see here, don't forget to click below to like and subscribe for more content. I am here. I'll be here forever, hopefully, for a really long time. And yeah, so in today's episode, what are we doing? We are building a restaurant. If you haven't checked or caught any of the other episodes that we have here at Coaster Monkey Studios, definitely check back. We're going to put a link right there. Bang! For our Monkeylandia playlist. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart at the moment. But yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode here. I wanted to wrap up the exterior of our park just outside of our main gate with this really ultra modern, ultra chic restaurant that we call Les Chic, right? So our theme park's main area is designed off of New York, and there's nothing like in New York, I should say, where you have this gorgeous, mid-century or even early 1900 building, this Macy's-inspired entryway gate. And then right next door, you've got this, 1990 or 2019, 2018 built modern, super chic restaurant. And we will call this Les Chic. And that's what this is. This is going to be for all those bougie guests who don't want to eat the park food and you don't want to have a really nice sit-down dinner. And that's what I did here. Where did I get the inspiration for this, you may ask? Well, I was hunting through some pictures of really nice buildings, modern buildings, and I saw this one building of a zoo, and this is a zoo building. Yeah, this is an entry area for a zoo building. It looks like it might be some type of, I don't know, like souvenir shop or whatever. But yeah, so we had a little bit of a error there with our video. For those of you who don't know, my previous computer, I had to send back. Yes, I know. So there was a loss in video there. There's going to be a couple of those throughout the series. Don't hate me, but from this point on, we should not have any further losses of video from a recording standpoint. From a presenting standpoint, yeah, we may have some losses, but yeah, so this is Les Chic. Isn't it super cute, right? I love it. There's a lot of work done. It's done. I'm sorry you missed all of it. That's the reason why this is a bit of a shorter episode, not gonna lie. But yeah, so Les Chic, what can I say about Les Chic? Well, what we did was we did two separate buildings. I don't know if you see there, that orange building off to the left with its parallel walls, into the curved wall there of the secondary building, which is the main building for the restaurant, with these modern floor-to-ceiling windows, which I absolutely adore. Stunning window work, I must say. Great job, Coaster Monkey, great job. Yeah, so originally this was going to be some sort of guest services building, and I was trying to figure out what to do inside of here. I wound up putting two mannequins in here, and I figured, having them wear, quote unquote, it's our imagination, they're wearing Monkeylandia t-shirts, right? Super fun idea. And you go on into this window, and that's the window where you set your reservation and go in through the door. And, we do a little bit of an interior here, and this is way before I realized you can cover over those windows with blue or black or whatever color in the art shape basic pieces, and you don't have to show what's inside. Yeah, that would have been good to know a little bit earlier, but all good. Thanks Wix for that tip. That was totally Wix. Check out his channel if you haven't. WIKZ. Wix is the man with the master plan. Did some fun lighting here. For those of you that don't know much about lighting, my biggest suggestion to you, make sure you dim your color, right? The saturation. So as you see there, it's not as bright. What I did was I moved the color gradient from the less saturated, or the more saturated to the less saturated, right, into the dark spectrum. Now, interior lighting. This is, again, earlier on, as I'm still futzing. I think this is maybe the third day I have the game at this point, trying to build this building. And doing interiors was interesting because I didn't really know about the camera toggle trick, where you hit T and toggle your camera. So that's something good to know, guys. Toggle your camera with the letter T. And it goes between world view as your center and the mouse view as your center, which is pretty good. It makes life so much easier. And I like the juxtaposition of the lighting here. All the exterior lighting just outside is in the yellow tone, and then you've got this bright white modern lighting on the inside, and I think it really does a really great comparison between the two. So I'm super stoked on that. So yeah, I'm gonna let this buzz through a little bit, let you watch me build out this interior, and I'll come back in a moment. Catch you guys in a bit. All right, so one thing that's a little bit tricky, if you've never done an interior before, I'm going to give you some insight, guys. Okay? Copy and paste. Oh my goodness, this was a challenge doing these interiors. So I did a little bit of copy and paste work. I pulled stuff from the first floor to the second floor, and then I moved some items around to create variation and interest on the inside. I definitely think it looks a little flat. I may go back and put in some greenery. Right, you know, like potted plants, maybe like a nice little palm tree inside of some potted plants in the window. Oh, that is a great idea, actually. I'm gonna go back and do that. But yeah, so check that out. Right, the interior came pretty well. It's not too matchy, but again, you would kind of see that match set up there a little bit. Going with the naming here, I wasn't sure what to name it at this point, so we named it Restaurant. There's a restaurant, awesome restaurant in Manhattan on 7th Avenue called Cafeteria. And their giant sign outside of their restaurant is restaurant, right? I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, but it's called Cafeteria. Definitely check it out. If you ever get out to New York City on 7th Avenue and 19th Street, Cafeteria, it is an awesome spot. All right, now thinking about lighting and all that other stuff, as you see here, like I said in my last video, lighting is super important to do at night. Do not do your lighting during the day or else your lighting will look a mess. So make sure you get on top of that straight away, guys. Go back, do your lighting at night. It's me scolding you. All right, so what's expecting this series coming up next? Well, this current episode, we're all about Les Chic. And in the next episode, which I'm excited for, we're actually going to get into the park. We're going to be doing a really cool coffee spot by the name of Street Fox Coffee. So super stoked on that one. And if you like, you know, what you see here, definitely subscribe because you're going to get a chance to see Street Fox Coffee, which I'm stoked for. All right, so what you guys are looking at now is a little bit of edit work I did to the pathing system here. I wanted to build out the infrastructure for the end of our Broadway. And that's what you see me doing here, throwing in some food stands and then get into some path work and some nature, N-E-A-T-U-R-E. The whole idea around this, you know, central area, this is going to be that central hub that we talk about, the hub and spoke mentality of a theme park. Of theme park infrastructure, I should say. And what I've done here is I've created this taxi cab ride that wraps around all these paths, and there's these little park bench tree areas. I wanted to be very tree heavy. Why? Well, because Central Park is a very tree heavy area. And that's what we created here. This is our mini Central Park that our taxi cab is going to take its ride through New York City. All right, so here you are just seeing me futzing around with our pathing tool here, and I wound up covering most of this up, and you'll see there's the nature work that I do here compared to the nature work I do later on around this area is so much better. I've got to go back and I've got to change all of these bushes. I actually found a tree that looks like a bush, right? Isn't that amazing? So that's what we wound up using. We wound up using a tree that looks like a bush, and it gives a much better ground cover than these here. I wanted that, typical path trim bush that you would have. That's not that super clean topiary type bush, right? We are throwing in some of those crazy trees because Lord knows they take up a lot of RAM. And then I wanted to hit it up with a nice clean little fence around, very similar to what you would see around the walkways and the sidewalks of New York City. And then we tuck in all of that nature and tuck it in nice and tight so it's not sticking out. Though that is something you would definitely see around New York. I was trying to figure out what plants did I want here. I wound up using this plant a lot. I use it as weeds. I use it as actual flowers. It's really versatile. And I like the whole look of it. I think it's very clean. And I can totally dig a clean plant around a tree, right? Now, my nature work, by no means is my nature work great. I know it sucks. But it's getting better. You'll see as I progress through the game, it definitely gets a little bit better. And what I've been doing is utilizing pictures of actual gardens and real places, to kind of identify how can I make it look as real as possible. And that's our whole intent. That's the goal, right? We want it to be realistic. And that's what we go after here, with a little bit of realism. Now, I do like the way this whole area winds up being finished. Like, I don't know. I mean, it really just has a nice clean look to it when it's done. And again, it's not very clean at the moment. Right? There's so much more work that needs to be done. But, I know what the end product looks like. So, woo! I win. You lose. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So I'm going to let this buzz through for a little bit. And I'm going to come on back once we see that finished product. Check you guys in a bit. Now, as I was walking around Hershey Park and Six Flags this past weekend, I noticed a lot. I noticed that there's not many flowers, first and foremost. I noticed there's a lot of bushes. And I noticed that there's a lot of bench areas, but there's not a lot of trees. Hershey Park had a ton of them. Six Flags Great Adventure had like no trees. It was like, I'm not kidding you, concrete graveyard. All you could see around you was concrete. And it was tough in the heat, not gonna lie. It was a little bit aggressive. But that's something I really wanted to start, going after with this particular build. Where I personally am in the actual build versus what you guys are seeing is leaps and bounds, to be honest. But I'm gonna think about that moving forward. Like, I want my next area, even though it's gonna be quote unquote real, it's gonna be a real highly themed area. right? So, but I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm building out these areas. I've got backstage areas. I've got a few things I'm trying to keep in mind. I'm going to start snapping a lot of pictures. I'm actually going back to Great Adventure Wednesday. So I'm going to snap a lot of pictures. Just to make sure that, you know, I've got it right. I want it to look right. I do love the edge work here. I'm definitely going to go back, I think, change those bushes, though. Those bushes are just too much. All right, this central area here, this one's getting changed, but this is going to end up being our quote-unquote King Coaster Circle area, right? So we're going to have a giant fountain in the center with King Coaster at the top. It's going to be super cool. And around on this side here, like, again, we're going to continue on with that pathwork to create that park experience, right, with all the benches. We're going to have a lot of food outlets over here for people to eat. I just love the circular, you know, pathways that wrap in and wrap out. This winds up changing over here. I didn't like, you know, the bunching of people here. So we wound up utilizing the main building. Our coaster station in the future winds up becoming the building that houses all the souvenir outlets and the food outlets. So, or the bathroom that goes in there, not food, I'm sorry. Now you're going to run into a lot of speed bumps, if you will, with the path work there. And don't get discouraged by it by any means. Just keep futzing with it. You'll figure it out. It'll work its way out. Sometimes it takes a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But by no means do I think it's a horrible path tool. I think you've just got to figure out the mechanics of how the path tool works and get it to work for you. Don't work against the program. Utilize the program to work for you. I think I've successfully figured that out, which I'm excited for. Look at how great that's looking now. And I mean, there's so much more that has to come. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely suggest you guys watch my video, and I'll put a link up here of the crazy taxi coaster. I mean, you're talking some serious theming and a lot of work. But we're coming out to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys for joining us here at Coaster Monkey Studios. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. Yeah, we're around, so come check us out. Thanks so much for joining, and catch you guys next time. Talk to you later.